What's up, buddy? You've been watching the Marvel Cinematic Disaster? What was the last Marvel project? Secret Invasion? Oh, that was terrible. We got Marvels coming. You excited for a bunch of ladies to yell at each other? I got some people telling me they think Marvels is going to be good. I didn't like Captain Marvel. I don't see how it's going to get good. Point is, guys, some people are still holding out hope that the Marvel Cinematic Universe will be restored to its former glory. Some, like me, are more skeptical and think the whole superhero thing is on the way out. And others think that the whole idea of comic book movies in general is a crime against humanity. Who are we talking about? We're talking about Martin Scorsese, who is urging filmmakers to fight comic book movie culture. He says we've got to save cinema. Well, it's a contentious topic. Obviously, Scorsese being a legendary film director, he's not a big fan of these popcorn superhero movies. These turn off your brain and watch the big bright lights and big fights. He's entitled to his opinion, and it's a very interesting opinion. We're going to read it. We're going to see some of the backlash that he's faced over on Twitter. We've got the actual quotes from the article. Some people, I think, are sensationalizing what he says. I think he has a very important message, and I want people to hear the real message from the man himself. We're going to talk about all that and more, but real quick, I want to tell you about my sponsor, Magic Spoon. Now, guys, if you're like me, as a kid, you loved breakfast cereal, all those tasty little bits swimming around in milk. What could be a better treat? But when you grow up, you can't be eating that sugary crap anymore. You need an adult cereal, a mature cereal. That's why I turned to Magic Spoon. 0 grams total sugars, 4 grams net carbs, 13 grams protein, and you got all your favorite flavors. You got the frosted, here we got the peanut butter, the loops of fruit, and of course, how can you go wrong with the classic cocoa flavor? Give me some of that chocolate tasties. Oh, wow. Oh, that's good. Guys, Magic Spoon's gonna fit a variety of lifestyles, whether you're doing high protein, keto friendly, whatever kind of lifestyle you're aiming for, make Magic Spoon a part of it. That's why I want you to click the link below to get yourself a variety pack, and make sure to use promo code VitoYT at checkout. Get yourself $5 off any order, or go to magicspoon.com/VitoYT. And Magic Spoon is so confident that you're going to love this product. It is backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. If you don't like it for any reason, you're going to get your money back, no questions asked. So one more time, you can click the link below in the description, scan the QR code on your screen, or use it. Oh my God, it's so tasty. Use code VitoYT for $5 off. Magic Spoon, it's going to up your breakfast game. You're going to love this stuff. It's actually really good. I'm gonna finish this bowl now. Oh wait, I can't finish this. We gotta make a video. Okay, let's get back into the video, and my cereal will get soggy. What are you gonna do? All right, now a lot of different places have been running with articles about this Scorsese thing. You can see some of the headlines here. Fight back. Martin Scorsese really has a disdain for Marvel films. Martin Scorsese on saving cinema from comic book movies. Scorsese slams Marvel movies again. Sorry, I'm adjusting my camera. It says audiences must fight back against comic book culture. I feel bad for this guy, because let's be clear, this is an entire interview about his entire career, everything, all his films, his life, whatever else, and people are going to like one little paragraph out of it. I feel so bad for this guy that he agrees to do this interview. And all anybody cares, it's tragic. This is one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. It's kind of creepy to see his face that close. But all anybody cares about is what he's got to say about Marvel movies. Doesn't that prove his point? He's like, guys, I've made some of the greatest films of all time. Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Casino, Goodfellas. You guys really just want to know what I think about Spider-Man. Well, as the Los Angeles Times says, again, Scorsese, or urges filmmakers to fight comic book movie culture. We've got to save cinema. And in a new profile for GQ, he again has retouched. Again, he made comments originally in 2019 attacking the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And at the time, it was kind of at its height. I think that was right when Endgame was coming out. Things were very exciting. And so a lot of people at the time said, what are you talking about? Marvel films are great, you crazy old man. How dare you talk trash about them? Now it seems like people are starting to side with them. They're starting to go, you know what? These do kind of all feel the same. I feel like I'm watching the same movie every time. Nothing changes. And they've pulled this quote from the GQ article. The danger there is what it's doing to our culture, because there's going to be generations now that think this is what movies are. Some of them, let's see, and who said this? Scorsese said some of them already think this, that these Marvel movies are all that there are. That means we have to fight back stronger. It's got to come from the grassroots level, and it's got to come from filmmakers themselves. And you'll have, you know, the Safdie brothers. You have Chris Nolan. You got to hit them from all sides and don't give up. Go reinvent. Don't complain about it, but it's true because we've got to save cinema. Well, a bit of a rambling answer there. Here's been some of the response on Twitter. Here's Coy Landreau from the Real Rejects. So this guy's got a bit of a following. He says, to be clear, it's that I like Scorsese. Why do I always pronounce it wrong? It's that I like Scorsese that these comments bother me. He knows what he's doing like anyone else on a press tour. Say comic, superhero, or Marvel and get more ink. It's that he's willing to take repeated jabs at other people's work to discuss his that bugs me. Well, I'm going to say this. I don't think Coy read the actual interview because Martin Scorsese, I keep getting it wrong. Scorsese didn't bring up Marvel. The interviewer actually brought it up, and the interviewer actually kind of apologized for bringing it up because he knew it was going to get him in trouble. We'll take a look at that. So I don't think Scorsese is trying to knock Marvel. I think it's just that, you know, he had those famous comments in 2019, and people still want to get his opinion. Here's Comic Accuracy ridiculing Scorsese's take, saying these films are apparently devoid of human emotion, according to Martin Scorsese. A good selection of clips, honestly. This was the funeral scene from Black Panther 2. This was a movie I saw that I really liked, but I liked it for these scenes. The actual Marvel parts of it were not as good. The scene of Miles and Gwen kind of having a little romance in the new Spider-Verse movie, that was excellent. I don't know about the walking towards the camera scene from Guardians. I don't think that was very cinematic. I mean, this is a stock shot. I think James Gunn does this in every one of his movies. And then for some reason, Blue Beetle. So people thought this was a troll post. People were like, why'd you put Blue Beetle? Was this supposed to be a goof? Blue Beetle's, it's fine, but it's not a great movie. And here's just one random one I found from somebody named Irby Doroteo to show you some of the rage of the real Marvel fans. Who let this clown against Marvel in the MCU? And I'm telling you that Martin Scorsese is a no-good, lousy son of a bitch. That's exactly what it is. He's gonna destroy superhero PVs, I think he meant superhero movies, with these crappy movies with a pile of shit. He'll burn it. So some people are not very happy. So again, I want to go to the actual article. And guys, if you're into film, if you're into the art of filmmaking, or if you're just into some wisdom from a guy who's 80-something years old, he's turning 81. He's been working his whole career making these movies. You know, it's a guy talking about, he knows he's at the end of his life. He's got maybe another 10, 20 years if he's lucky. You know, what do you do there as a creator? What stories do you want to tell? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? It's a fascinating piece. It's sad that it comes down to, yeah, but what does he think about Captain America? Does he like Nick Fury? Did he watch Loki? Why are you asking him that? Leave him alone. Real quick, where is the Marvel stuff? Okay. Here, I suggested to Scorsese that movie theaters could only show the films that Hollywood actually made, and that might lie the problem. If Hollywood makes nothing but comic book and franchise movies, and certain segments of the audience don't want to see those films, then nothing is going to get them into a movie theater. And again, the interviewer says, I feel bad bringing this up. I feel bad having done this. Since Scorsese's skeptical comments about Marvel and comic book films in the past have attracted a lot of vitriol. And yet here I am inviting more vitriol for Martin Scorsese. Please complain to me and not him. Even the interviewer says, if you're mad what he's saying about Marvel, it's my fault. I'm the one who made him talk about that. I really like this interviewer. He's very honest. But he does see trouble in the glut of franchise and comic book entertainment that makes up most of what you see in a theater. The danger there is what it's doing to our culture. Again, this quote, there's going to be generations now that thinks that this is what movies are. Well, that's interesting. I want to say when I was a kid, I mean, all movies were to me was also kind of the same. It was big, stupid blockbuster movies. When I was a kid, the movies I remember were like Jurassic Park, that was huge. Star Wars. I want to say Back to the Future was big. Maybe E.T. was on home video. All the Disney stuff, Aladdin, whatever else. So as a kid, I don't know what cinema is when I'm a child. But I think every child grows up that way, mostly watching kid-friendly blockbusters, and the Marvel movies are part of that. At a certain point, as a teenager, I started discovering what I guess you would call cinema, more deep, dark, depressing films. I spent time in my teenage years watching weird foreign films and black and white trash. And I mean, some of it was good, and some of it's definitely informed my life, but I got to admit, at a certain point, it's weird. When you're like a teenager, you're like, yeah, I want some raw stuff. I want some raw emotion. I want to see people cry. I want to see death and whatever else. And then you get to, where I'm at right now, and I go, man, I've seen people die for real. I've lost people. I don't need movies about that. At this point, I just want something fun. It kind of goes in a circle, Anyway. So he says, yes, we got to have, these different directors reinvent the genres, keep making these movies. And he refers to these Marvel movies as manufactured content. It's not really cinema. Now, I do echo, I think I understand his concern. His concern is that these movies are so much by committee that they are... they're compromised. It's not a unique director's vision. It's a director's vision that slots into this timeline. You really can't get too creative with it. I always think about the fact that, who was it? Was supposed to make was it Edgar Wright? Edgar Wright was supposed to direct Ant-Man. It was going to be like set in the 60s. It was going to be completely detached from the rest of the Marvel stuff. And they said, you know what? It just doesn't fit into our plans of what we're doing. Rarely do they let these directors... I don't think ever. Is there any Marvel movie where the director really gets to go off the wagon and do anything truly original? And again, that's a part of the reason I liked Black Panther 2, was it almost felt like Ryan Coogler was kind of rebelling against Marvel, being like, hey, I know you don't want me to put all this artsy-fartsy stuff in the movie, but I'm going to do it. And frankly, all that artsy-fartsy stuff, all the dramatic shots and the real acting, the real raw emotion, was a million times better than Riri Williams in her stupid robot suit. So, I've got to say this. At the end of the day, look, this is a guy who clearly has spent his life trying to craft the future of the cinematic art form, trying to make it into an art form, trying to make it into something respected that tells real stories. And he's seeing that, the movies that are making the big crazy money are loud, stupid superhero movies. Some of them are okay, and some of them probably deserve that money. Some of them are like, again, I feel like I'm seeing the same story over and over. I'm not excited for, the Marvels, because I feel like I've already seen the movie. How's it going to surprise me? How's it going to be anything new or interesting? It's going to be, we're fighting the bad guy in space. There's a big laser. Oh, but this time there's 3 ladies instead of 2 ladies. There's like very minor changes between them. So I'd say this, guys. This is a guy, he wants film to be the glorious, utopia that he had dreamed of, that you take yourself to see a real film. You take your family to the cinema and you expose them to real art. But we live in a time where I honestly can't fault people for saying, I don't want art right now. I don't want anything dark. I don't want anything depressing. I don't want anything that exposes, the human element. Okay, I just kind of want to watch people beat each other up and make little jokes. We'll see. I think there's going to be a turn. I think, again, and I have this belief that a lot of the audience's predilections, what they're into, is just based on the economy. Right now, the economy is kind of in the dumps, and people don't want to watch a bunch of movies about, dark, depressing topics or even serious topics. They kind of just want to have fun. I don't know. I could be crazy, but we'll see how it pans out. Ultimately, though, I hear what he's saying. I've said myself that I've watched so many of these crappy superhero movies that when I sit down and I watch an actual movie, I'm like blown away, where I go, oh yeah, I forgot movies can be good. there was that one stretch of time where back to back I saw Doctor Strange, then I saw Thor: Love and Thunder, then I saw Ant-Man 3, and I said, wow, movies suck. I hate movies. And then I watched a good movie, The Fabelmans, from Steven Spielberg, and I went, oh, never mind, I love movies. What am I talking about? You just gotta find the good ones. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, how do you feel about the current state of movies? I don't really go to the movie theater that often. It's hard for me to get excited for a movie. You know, the last time, or we got lucky. We got lucky with Barbenheimer, where not only is Oppenheimer a big budget, you know, prestige movie, but even Barbie, which we all thought was going to be this dumb franchise film, actually had some heart to it. It actually felt, I'm not going to put it on the level of cinema. I'm not going to call it cinema, but it felt like a deep a very heartfelt movie. Felt like it had some real thought to it. It wasn't just this cookie cutter franchise garbage. So I'm hopeful that, you know, maybe cinema can get back somewhere, but these ballooning budgets, these $300 million budgets, these giant monster tent poles, I think we got to get away from that. We got to go back to making smaller, more intimate films, and we got to get people to go to the theaters to see these smaller, more intimate films. But the only thing that's putting butts in seats again is giant robots and superheroes and magic powers and whatever else. It's the nature of the beast. We'll see if we ever get back to small, intimate cinema again. I hope we do. Let me know in the comments if you agree. And don't forget, guys, you can check out my comic book, Superkiller, at superkiller.org. Coming soon. You can still pre-order that and get on the list. It's coming along great. It's going to be a great book. I think you're all going to love it. Take care of yourself. More cool videos coming soon. Bye-bye.